When I started my business, I fell into the same trap most online coaches do. I thought lower prices and signing more clients was the easiest way to scale. But I was wrong. But the problem was that no one really respected my service. Everyone expected the world, they didn't fully commit, and they just constantly needed more from me, which meant I was working harder for basically no return. And at one point I can just remember that I asked myself, what the fuck am I even doing? And since then I've met so many online coaches who've gone through the exact same struggle. And take Jack for example. He was working super hard every single day just to keep up with his clients, charging $500 for a 3-month program, and he couldn't scale past 3K per month because he was spending all his time just doing client work instead of the work that was actually growing the business. So we completely repositioned his offer. We increased the perceived value, changed how it was packaged and presented, and raised his price to over $1,500. And just 3 months later he was hitting new record months consistently. So in this video I'm going to break down exactly how we did this for Jack and how you can build a scalable offer that actually sells. So let's get into it. So let's start by talking about why most coaches are stuck. And the first point here is undercharging. They think getting more clients at a lower price is the key to scaling. Then we have selling to the wrong audience. They're trying to speak to everyone, and that is a huge mistake. And thirdly, an offer that looks the same as everyone else's. You need to understand how you can position your offer as unique. Then lastly, lack of clarity. They don't really understand what actually makes them different, who they want to help, and the result that they actually can provide. But here's the solution, because here's how you can build an offer that actually converts. And these are the main 3 things that we will go over in this video. And the first point is understanding your ICP. And if you don't understand what ICP means, that is basically your ideal client profile, like your target avatar, the person you want to attract. And you need to understand exactly who your offer is for, the person that you're trying to sell to. Then we have creating your own method, because your method is what makes you unique. And lastly, how to charge more premium prices, how you can position your offer so that people are willing to pay you 3, 4, or even 5K for your coaching. And the first step that I wanted to go over was understanding your ICP. I just explained what ICP means. If you of course have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. But the 2 main problems I see here with coaches trying to define these is that they are either having a too wide ICP, like they're trying to speak to everyone, and that doesn't work. You have to be super specific here. You need to understand exactly who the person is that you're trying to speak to. You should be able to see them in front of you. So you need to understand exactly what their biggest pains are, their goals, desires, what they have been trying in the past, etc. Then we have the second mistake, which is that they are selling to the wrong ICP. They're selling to an ICP that doesn't really have money to invest. So you need an ICP that are actually willing to invest you high ticket, because otherwise it's going to be super hard to scale from the first place. So here's an example of 2 different ICPs. We have a bad ICP, which is I help 20-year-old university students who's trying to get in shape. That is not good, because we all know that most 20-year-old, especially university students, like they are not that committed, they don't have the biggest pains, and especially like they don't have the biggest money to invest. And then we have a great ICP here. I help hardworking dads, 40 to 60 years old, who's tired of looking in the mirror and not liking what they see, and they want to lose X pounds in X days without spending hours in the gym or sacrificing family time. And this is a great ICP because people within 40 to 60 dads, they usually have money. Then we add hard working as well, which makes it even clearer that they have a job, that they have a stable income coming in so they can invest. Then we're speaking to big pains here, who's tired of looking in the mirror and not liking what they see, then spending hours in the gym, sacrificing family time, because that's what people care about. Those are some big pain points. So when you're creating ICP, you have to be super clear on these kind of things. So 2 key things. Firstly, be super clear on the person. You should be able to see the person in front of you when you're creating these, and then also make sure that you have an ICP that actually has money. Then we have the second thing here, which is creating your own method, because instead of just selling coaching, you should sell a proven system that gives people the confidence that they will actually achieve the result. And this is also what's going to make you unique, as I said before. So here's exactly how you can do that. So the first step here is defining the end results your client actually want. You need to be super clear on that, because otherwise it's super hard to sell coaching, because all you really do is just selling the outcome. You're selling the transformation, and if you're not clear on the exact outcome people will get from working with you, like, you're going to lose by the end of the day. Then we have the second step here, which is map out the key stages they need to go through to get there, usually 3 to 5 steps. You need to be super clear on the process that people has to go through, your own delivery. Because if you're not clear on that, if you don't have a proven roadmap, people will not trust you and people will not buy your offer, because you can't sit there on a sales call, tell people or promise people the world. Then when they actually ask how it works, you have no clue. And then last step here is naming your framework so it's easy to remember. You need a name for your own method or system to actually stand out even more, and that will become a part of your brand. So when you're creating your own method, firstly be super clear on the results you can actually deliver, and map out the key stages, and then name the framework. And what you can also do, or what you can ask yourself, is what part of your offer do clients value the most? What is the clearest measurable result you can promise? How long does it take a client to actually get that result? Because those 3 questions are going to help you actually creating this and give you a better understanding on the unique method that you're actually trying to make. And the more specific that you can actually get on this, the better. Because if you study the top coaches in the industry, the ones that are making the most, they are all super dialed in here. They are super specific. So that's super important. Then we have the last thing, which is how to charge more premium prices and how to increase the value of the actual outcome. Because the biggest mistake I see when I've been speaking to so many coaches is that they think charging low prices, $100 per month, is the key to scale, because it's going to be easier to sign clients. But the problem with that is that when you're charging lower prices and when you're not charging premium, is that people will not value you the same, and people will expect the world from you, and it's going to be super hard to hit the bigger months, because then you need so many clients at that specific price point, the low ticket price, to actually make something. But when you're charging more, you need less clients for a higher price. And this is also great, because then you can put that time and effort that you would normally put into client work, now when you have less clients, into actually working on the things that is actually pushing the needle forward in your business, working on the business, not in the business. But here are just how you can position your offer in a way that you actually attract more premium clients from the first place with your offer. So what you want to do is, because it's impossible, you can't just increase your prices if you don't understand this. So what I want you to do is, don't sell this get in shape, lose weight, feel healthier. That is too general, and people doesn't really care about that. Losing weight is just the top of it. You have to dive deeper here. So if you see this, what you should do instead is selling this type of outcome, which is more energy to play with your kids, big pain points. Look in the mirror and actually feel proud. Become the person who finally keeps promises to himself. Sell emotion, sell the pain point, because that is what people are willing to pay you a lot for. So this is what you have to be super clear on before you actually increase your prices. You need to be specific on the outcome and make sure that it has a big pain point in it, because if there's no big pain, people are not going to pay you a lot, because people pay depending on how big the actual pain is. So what you want to do is having fewer clients and have more revenue coming in, because most coaches think that the key to scaling is getting more clients, but having few clients who pay you more is the fastest way to build a profitable coaching business, because you will have more committed clients that will get better results just because they are more committed, because when they pay you high prices, they want to win, they want to make the most out of it, and it will give them more time to grow. So charge based on what you and your offer is actually worth. Ask yourself, are you really worth $100 a month? I think you already know the answer. So when you're charging prices, charge based on how much you're actually worth and how much the client value the actual transformation. Super important. And here's what it looks like in real life. Here's one of my clients, Sam. So the problem with him was that my client Sam had built an audience of just broke university students instead of people who actually could afford to work with him. And that is a huge mistake. It's not just Sam, I see this with so many people. But what we did to fix this was that we refined his ICP. This was a big point here, just fixing up his ICP so he actually could attract an audience with more money. Rebuilt his offer from the ground up and completely repositioned his business. And now just 2 months later, he's attracting higher quality clients who have money and are ready to invest. And after we fixed this up for him, he was able to book over 10 calls in 2 days just from organic content alone. And I think he closed 8 or 7 of them, which is really fucking cool. So it actually works. And again, hope this video was valuable. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. And if you want to learn more on how we can help you with this, just click the button below that says see how we can help you scale.